In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of Holy Spirit, one God. Amen. Chosen ones, God is speaking directly to you right now, and His voice is calling you to a moment that will change everything. This isn't a whisper you can ignore. It's a divine command, a message carved into the fabric of your soul, urging you to stand up, listen, and move forward. God's words are not distant. They are alive, pulsing through your spirit, demanding your attention. You've been chosen for a reason, and today that reason is about to unfold in ways you never imagined. Your heart knows this truth. You've felt it in those quiet moments when the world fades and something greater stirs within you. Maybe it was a dream that lingered too long, a sudden clarity in the middle of chaos, or a pull towards something you couldn't explain. That was God speaking, guiding you toward a path only you can walk. His voice isn't just words. It's a fire, a light, a force that moves mountains. And right now that force is moving through you, preparing you for a breakthrough that's already on its way. You're not here by chance. The struggles you've faced, the tears you've shed, the nights you wondered if you'd ever rise again, they were an accident. They were the forge where God shaped you. Every scar is a mark of His craftsmanship. Every trial a testament to your strength. Psalm 34:18 says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." You've been broken, but you've also been rebuilt, stronger, brighter, chosen. God's voice is clear. Your past doesn't define you. Your calling does. Now pause for a second. Feel the weight of this moment. God isn't speaking to the crowd. He's speaking to you. His message is personal, direct, undeniable. It's not about waiting for the perfect time or the right circumstances. It's about now. The gates of your destiny are swinging open, and God is saying, don't wait. The blessings, the answers, the miracles you've prayed for, they're not coming tomorrow. They're here, but you have to listen, trust, and act. Let's make this real. Hit that like button to anchor this moment in your heart. Subscribe to join thousands of chosen ones souls walking this divine path together. And in the comments, type 777 to declare that you're ready to hear God's voice and step into His plan. These actions aren't just clicks. They're signals to the universe, to your spirit, that you're claiming what's yours. God's voice is a call to transformation, not hesitation. Think about Moses standing before the burning bush. He wasn't ready, stuttering, doubting, a fugitive with a past. But God didn't ask for perfection. He asked for obedience. Exodus 3:4 says, when the Lord saw that he had gone over to look, God called to him from within the bush, Moses. Moses. That same God is calling your name today. He sees your flaws, your fears, your failures, and He's still saying, you're the one I've chosen. What's holding you back? Fear, doubt, the weight of what others think? Let it go. God's voice cuts through all of it. He's not asking you to be fearless. He's asking you to trust Him more than you trust your fears. When you hear His call, it's not a suggestion, it's a divine directive. The world might tell you to wait, to play it safe, to shrink back, but God is saying, move now. Your breakthrough isn't tied to your circumstances, it's tied to your faith. Picture this, a seed buried in the dark, pressed down by the weight of the earth. It doesn't question when the sun will come, it just pushes upward, breaking through the soil to find light. That's you right now. The darkness of your past, the pressure of your struggles, they're not your end. They're the soil God planted you in to grow. His voice is the light calling you upward, urging you to break through into a life of purpose, abundance and joy. You've seen others rise. Look at Esther, a young woman in a foreign land, chosen to save her people. She didn't feel ready. She faced a king, a court, a system that could have crushed her. But God's voice spoke through her, giving her courage to step into a moment that changed history. Esther 4:14 says, "Who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this?" You in your such a time moment, God speaking, would you answer? This isn't about chasing dreams or forcing outcomes. It's about alignment. When you hear God's voice, you're not just listening, you're stepping into sync with His plan. That alignment brings clarity. Suddenly, the chaos of life makes sense. The closed doors, the delays, the heartaches, they were all part of His design to bring you to this exact moment. God's voice is the compass that points you to your true north, guiding you to a life that's bigger than you ever dared to imagine. Take a moment to feel the shift. Your spirit knows this is true. You've been waiting for a sign, a confirmation, a spark to ignite your next step. This is it. God's voice isn't just words, it's power. It's the same power that spoke the stars into existence, that parted the Red Sea, that raised Lazarus from the dead. That power is speaking to you now, saying, get up, your time is here. Don't let doubt or distraction drown it out. The world is loud. Voices of fear, comparison and failure scream for your attention. But God's voice is louder. It's steady, unshakable, eternal. John 10:27 says, "My sheep listen to my voice. I know them and they follow me." You're His chosen and you know His voice. It's the one that calms the storm in your heart, that lights up the path when everything else feels dark. Tune out the noise. Lean into His call. Right now, God is rewriting your story. The chapters of struggle, loss, and waiting, they're done. A new page is turning and it's filled with promise. You're not just surviving, you're stepping into a season of thriving. God's voice is the pen and He's writing victory, abundance and purpose into your life. But you have to believe it, you have to claim it, you have to move. Let's seal this moment. Hit that like button to affirm your faith. Subscribe to stand with thousands of chosen ones claiming their divine calling. And in the comments type 777 to declare that you hear God's voice and you're ready for what's next. These aren't just actions, they are acts of faith, signals to heaven that you're all in. God's voice isn't just a sound, it's a force that reshapes reality. When He speaks, walls fall, chains break, and impossible things become possible. Think of David facing Goliath. The world saw a boy with a sling. God saw a king with a destiny. On Samuel 17:45 says, David said to the Philistine, "You come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty." That's the power of God's voice in you, turning underdogs into giants, turning battles into victories. You are not ordinary, you never were. The world might try to box you in, to make you small, to convince you that your dreams are too big. But God's voice says otherwise. He's calling you to rise, to shine, to step into the fullness of who you were created to be. You're not just a person, you're a purpose. You're not just alive, you're chosen. And right now, God is speaking directly to that purpose, urging you to act. Every step you take in faith amplifies His voice. It's like tuning a radio. Each act of obedience, each moment of trust brings the signal into clearer focus. You start to see the signs. A door opens where a wall once stood. A connection forms where you least expected it. A strength rises within you that you didn't know you had. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks with contributions of up to $120, 0 cents. I pay men to get blessing, 100 million. God's voice isn't just guiding you, it's empowering you, equipping you for a life that reflects His glory. Look at history. Think of Harriet Tubman, a woman born into slavery. Yet God's voice called her to lead others to freedom. She didn't have resources, status, or safety, but she had a divine call. She said, I never ran my train off the track, and I never lost a passenger. That's what happens when you hear God's voice and follow it. Impossible missions become undeniable victories. You're on your own underground railroad, leading yourself and others to freedom. God's voice is urgent. He's not speaking in vague promises or distant hopes. He's saying now, this is your moment to step out of the shadows, to leave behind the weight of doubt, to walk boldly into the life He's prepared. The blessings aren't waiting for someday. They're here, ready for you to claim. But you have to move. You have to trust. You have to listen. Feel the fire in your bones. That's God's voice stirring you, awakening you, pushing you forward. It's not about being perfect, it's about being present. It's about saying, yes, Lord, I hear you. It's about taking that first step, even when the path isn't clear. Isaiah 30:21 says, whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it. That voice is speaking now. Will you walk? This message is burning in your spirit because it's true. You're not just another face in the crowd. You're a chosen one, handpicked by God for a purpose that's bigger than you. His voice is your guide, your strength, your victory. Every time you've fallen, you've risen stronger. Every time you face darkness, you found light. That's not luck, that's God speaking, shaping, leading you to this moment. Don't let this pass. God's voice isn't a one-time call. It's a constant rhythm. A heartbeat driving you toward your destiny. But you have to stay tuned in. The world will try to drown it out with distractions, fears, and doubts. Tune them out. Lean into the one who knows you, who called you, who chose you. His voice is your lifeline, your map, your power. Right now, God is aligning things you can't see. Connections, opportunities, breakthroughs. They're coming together like pieces of a divine puzzle. You might not see the full picture yet, but trust the one who's painting it. His voice is the brush, and your life is the canvas. Every word He speaks adds color, depth, and beauty to your story. Don't wait to see the masterpiece. Start walking toward it now. Think of Noah building an ark in the middle of dry land. The world mocked him, called him crazy, but God's voice was clear and Noah listened. Genesis 6:22 says, Noah did everything just as God commanded him. That obedience turned a man into a legacy, a flood into a fresh start. God speaking to you with the same clarity. Will you build your ark even when the world doesn't understand? This isn't about chasing wealth or fame. It's about stepping into the abundance of God's purpose. His voice doesn't promise a life without challenges. It promises a life where no challenge can stop you. You're not defined by your bank account, your job, or your past. You're defined by the one who speaks your name, who calls you his own, who says, you're enough. Your heart is racing because you know this is real. God's voice isn't just words. It's a current pulling you toward your destiny. You felt it in those moments when you knew you were meant for more. It wasn't imagination, that was God. He's speaking now, louder, clearer, more urgent than ever. He's saying, don't wait. Your time is now. Let's lock this in. Hit that like button to claim this message. Subscribe to join thousands of chosen ones hearing God's call. And in the comments type 777 to declare you're ready to act on His voice. These steps aren't just gestures. They're your commitment to the path God's laid before you. God's voice is a fire that burns away doubt. It's a wind that clears the fog. It's a light that shows the way. When He speaks, the impossible becomes possible. Think of Mary, a young girl told she'd carry the Savior. Luke 1:38 says, I am the Lord's servant. Mary answered, may your word to me be fulfilled. Her yes changed the world. Your yes can do the same. You're not alone in this. God's voice doesn't just call you, it surrounds you. It's in the encouragement of a friend, the timing of a stranger's kindness, the sudden clarity in a moment of prayer. He's speaking through every detail, weaving a story only you can live. Trust the process, trust the voice, trust the one who's never failed you. This moment is sacred. You're standing at a crossroads, and God's voice is the signpost. One path leads to comfort, safety, the same old routine. The other leads to purpose, power, a life that echoes into eternity. You know which path is yours. You've always known. God's speaking to confirm it, to push you, to remind you that you were born for this. Every time you've doubted, God's voice was there whispering, keep going. Every time you've fallen, His voice said, get up. Every time you felt lost, His voice was the map. Now He's shouting, move, the blessings are here. The doors are open, the time is now. Don't let fear steal what faith can claim. You're not just hearing God's voice, you're becoming it. Your life is His message to the world. Every step you take, every choice you make, every victory you claim, it's all a testament to His power in you. Romans 8:28 says, in all things, God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. That's you, called, chosen, ready. The world needs your light. People around you are waiting for the hope you carry, the strength you forge, the purpose God speaking into you. Don't hold back. His voice isn't just for you, it's for everyone your life will touch. Step into it, speak it, live it. You're not just a person, you're a movement, a miracle, a chosen one. God's voice is your anchor in the storm, your compass in the wilderness, your fire in the dark. It's the one thing that never wavers, never fades, never fails. Right now it's calling you to rise, to act, to become. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for perfection. Don't wait for tomorrow. God's speaking now. Will you answer? Your life is a canvas and God's voice is the brush. Every word He speaks paints a stroke of purpose, beauty, and power. You're not a rough draft, you're a masterpiece in progress. Trust the artist, trust the process, trust the voice that's calling you to step into a life that's bigger, bolder, brighter than you ever dreamed. Think of Abraham, told to leave everything familiar for a promise he couldn't see. Genesis 12:1 says, The Lord had said to Abram, go from your country, your people, and your father's household to the land I will show you. He didn't have a map, just a voice. That voice led him to a legacy that still shapes the world. God's voice is leading you to your own promised land. Will you go? This isn't about what you lack, it's about what you carry. God's voice has already equipped you with everything you need. Strength for the battle, wisdom for the choices, courage for the journey. You're not waiting for a miracle, you are the miracle. His voice is the spark and you're the flame. Let it burn bright. You've been through the fire, the flood, the valley. Each time, God's voice was there guiding, lifting, restoring. Now it's calling you to a mountaintop moment, a season of victory, abundance and purpose. Don't look back at the valley. Don't dwell on the scars. Look forward to the glory. God's speaking into your life right now. Let's make this moment count. Hit that like button to stand in faith. Subscribe to join thousands of chosen ones answering God's call. And in the comments, type 777 to declare your own for His plan. These aren't just actions, they're your yes to God. Your claim on the life He's prepared. God's voice is a river flowing through your soul, carving out a path of purpose. It's washing away the debris of doubt, fear, and failure. It's carrying you toward a future that's alive with possibility. Don't fight the current. Don't resist the flow. Let His voice carry you to where you're meant to be. You're not just a listener, you're a vessel. God's voice doesn't just speak to you, it speaks through you. Your life, your choices, your courage. They're His message to a world that's desperate for hope. You're not here to blend in, you're here to stand out, to shine, to show what happens when a chosen one hears and obeys. Every delay, every detour, every disappointment was part of the plan. God's voice was in every moment, shaping you, preparing you, positioning you for now. This is your season. The harvest is ready. The blessings are ripe. His voice is clear. Don't wait, it's happening. Step into it with faith, with fire, with the certainty that God's got you. You're not defined by your past mistakes or your present struggles. You're defined by the voice that calls you forward, that names you chosen, that declares you victorious. God speaking to the you He created, the you He destined for greatness. Listen, trust, move. Your life is about to become a living testimony to His power. The enemy wants you to doubt, to hesitate, to shrink back. But God's voice is louder, stronger, truer. It's saying, you're mine, you're ready, you're enough. Every step you take in faith drowns out the lies. Every move you make in obedience silences the noise. God's voice is your victory song. Sing it loud. Think of Daniel in the lion's den. The world saw death, God saw deliverance. Daniel 6:22 says, my God sent His angel and He shut the mouths of the lions. That same God is speaking to you, shutting the mouths of your fears, your doubts, your enemies. His voice is your shield, your sword, your salvation. Trust it. This is your moment to rise. God's voice isn't just a call, it's a command. It's not just a promise, it's a guarantee. The life you've dreamed of, the purpose you've sensed, the breakthrough you've prayed for, it's here. Don't wait, don't doubt, don't hold back. God speaking, answer with your life. You're standing on holy ground. Every word God speaks is a spark, igniting your spirit, setting your path ablaze. You're not just hearing His voice, you're carrying it. It's in your steps, your breath, your heartbeat. Let it move you. Let it change you. Let it make you the chosen one you were always meant to be. God's voice is not a distant echo. It's a thunder in your soul, shaking loose every chain that's ever held you back. You're not just hearing Him, you're feeling Him, sensing the weight of His words as they carve a new path through your life. This isn't about waiting for a sign. It's about recognizing that the sign is you. You're the living proof of His call, the evidence of His power, the vessel of His purpose. Right now He's speaking to awaken the fire within you, to push you toward a destiny that's been yours since before time began. You've walked through seasons of silence, moments when you wondered if God was even there, but every quiet moment was preparation. Every stillness a setup for what's coming. His voice was never absent. It was shaping you, refining you, teaching you to hear Him in the whispers before He roared. Now He's roaring. The clarity of His call is undeniable, urging you to step out of the shadows and into the light of His plan. You're not waiting for permission. You're being commissioned. Think of Elijah standing alone on Mount Carmel, facing 450 prophets of Baal. The odds were impossible, the stakes overwhelming. Yet God's voice spoke through him, and fire fell from heaven. 1 Kings 18:38 says, "Then the fire of the Lord fell and burned up the sacrifice, the wood, the stones, and the soil." That same fire is in you now, ignited by God's voice, ready to consume every obstacle in your path. His words aren't just guidance, they power, and they're flowing through you. This is your moment to act. God's voice isn't a suggestion, it's a divine mandate. He's not asking you to think about it. He's telling you to move. The dreams you've carried, the prayers you've whispered, the hopes you've held close, they're not fantasies. They're seeds God planted, and His voice is the rain bringing them to life. You're standing on fertile ground, and the harvest is now. Don't let fear or doubt choke out what faith can grow. Let's make this real. Hit that like button to claim this truth. Subscribe to join thousands of chosen ones stepping into God's call. And in the comments, type 777 to declare you're ready to move with His voice. These aren't just clicks. They're your agreement with heaven. Your yes to the life God speaking into you. God's voice is a melody weaving through the chaos of your life, turning discord into harmony. You've heard it in the moments when everything clicked, when the pieces of your story suddenly made sense. That wasn't chance, it was Him orchestrating every detail to lead you here. Now He's singing a new song over you, one of victory, purpose, and breakthrough. Zephaniah 3:17 says, "He will take great delight in you. In His love He will no longer rebuke you, but will rejoice over you with singing." His voice is your anthem. Let it lift you. You're not defined by the world's limits, the economy, the opinions, the systems. They don't get to write your story. God's voice does. He's speaking abundance where the world sees lack, strength where others see weakness, hope where despair tries to take root. You're not bound by what's around you. You're bound for what's above you. His words are lifting you higher, calling you to a life that defies gravity, that soars beyond the ordinary. Picture a river cutting through stone. It doesn't force its way, it flows, steady and relentless, shaping the hardest surfaces over time. That's God's voice in you. Steady, relentless, shaping your life into something unbreakable. You're not just surviving, you're being sculpted into a masterpiece. Every challenge, every setback, every tear was a moment His voice was at work. smoothing rough edges, carving out a purpose only you can fulfill. You've seen others transformed by his voice. A man's voice, think of Paul, once saw. A man who hunted Christians until God's voice stopped him cold on the road to Damascus. Acts 9:4 says he fell to the ground and heard a voice say to him, "Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me?" That moment rewrote his life, turning an enemy into an apostle. God's voice is doing the same for you, rewriting your story, turning your past into a platform for his glory. You're not who you were, you're who he's calling you to be. This isn't about chasing miracles, it's about becoming one. God's voice isn't just pointing you to blessings, it's making you a blessing. Your life is a testimony, a living proof of his power. Every step you take, every choice you make, every moment you trust his voice, it's a ripple that touches lives you'll never meet. You're not just a person, you're a purpose, a light, a force God's using to change the world. Feel the urgency. God's voice isn't casual, it's immediate. He's not speaking for someday, he's speaking for now. The opportunities, the connections, the breakthroughs, they're aligning as you listen. You don't need to see the whole path, you just need to take the next step. His voice is the lamp at your feet, the light on your path. Psalm 119, 1 and 5 says, "Your word is a lamp for my feet, a light on my path. Trust it, follow it, move. You're not alone in this." God's voice isn't just in your heart, it's in the world around you. It's in the stranger who speaks a timely word, the opportunity that appears out of nowhere, the peace that settles in your soul when you pray. He's speaking through every moment, every detail, every breath. Tune in, listen close. His voice is the thread that ties your life together, weaving a story of purpose and power. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks with contributions of up to $120, 0 cents. I pay men to get blessing 100 million. The enemy will try to drown him out. Doubt will whisper, "You're not enough." Fire will shout, "It's too late." But God's voice is stronger. It's the truth that cuts through lies, the light that pierces darkness, the power that breaks chains. You've heard it before. In the moments you felt unstoppable, in the times you rose when you should have fallen, that was him. And he's speaking louder now, urging you to claim what's yours. Let's anchor this truth. Hit that like button to stand firm in his call. Subscribe to join thousands of chosen ones walking in God's voice, and in the comments type 777 to declare you're ready for what he's saying. These actions are your stake in the ground, your declaration that you're Allen for his plan. God's voice is a promise sealed in eternity, written in his love for you. It's not fragile. It doesn't waver. When he speaks, creation listens. Mountains move, seas part, dead things live again. That same voice is speaking to you, calling forth life where there was death, hope where there was despair, purpose where there was confusion. You're not just hearing him, you're carrying his words, living them, becoming them. You've been tested, refined, prepared. Every trial was a classroom, every loss a lesson, every victory a milestone. God's voice was in every moment, teaching you, strengthening you, guiding you to this now. You're not the same person you were a year ago, a month ago, even a day ago. His voice is making you new, shaping you into the chosen one you were always meant to be. Think of Ruth, a widow with nothing, Yet God's voice led her to a field, to Boaz, to a legacy that birthed kings. Ruth 2:10 says, "Why have I found such favor in your eyes that you notice me, a foreigner?" That favor wasn't luck, it was God's voice positioning her, providing for her, rewriting her story. He's doing the same for you, placing you in the right field at the right time for the right purpose. Trust His voice. This isn't about what you can do, it's about what He's already done. God's voice doesn't depend on your strength, your wisdom, your perfection. It depends on His faithfulness. You're not earning His call, you're receiving it. You're not fighting for victory, you're walking in it. His voice is the guarantee, the assurance, the promise that what He started in you, He will finish. You're standing at the edge of something massive. God's voice is the wind pushing you forward, the current pulling you into your destiny. You don't need to see the whole ocean to know it's deep. You don't need to see the whole path to know it's yours. His voice is enough. It's the map, the compass, the destination. Step out, trust Him, let His words carry you. The world will try to pull you back. Old habits, old fears, old doubts. They'll whisper that you can't, that you shouldn't, that it's safer to stay small. But God's voice is louder, clearer, truer. It's saying, you're mine, you're chosen, you're ready. Every time you choose His voice over the noise, you're choosing freedom, purpose, life. Don't look back, keep moving. You've seen His voice at work before. In the job that came through when you had nothing, in the strength that carried you when you should have broken, in the peace that held you when the world fell apart. That was God speaking, guiding, providing. Now He's speaking again, louder, bolder, calling you to a season where His blessings overflow, where His purpose shines, where His voice becomes your reality. God's voice is your weapon, your shield, your victory. It's not just words, it's power. It's the force that created you, that sustains you, that calls you forward. You're not just a person, you're a purpose. You're not just alive, you're anointed. His voice is the spark that sets your life ablaze, turning dreams into reality, prayers into answers, hopes into victories. God's voice is a beacon cutting through the fog of your life, illuminating paths you didn't know existed. It's not just a sound, it's a signal, a divine frequency tuned specifically to your soul. You felt it in those moments when a sudden courage rose within you, when a quiet certainty settled in your heart, despite the chaos around you. That's Him speaking directly to you, guiding you to a destiny that's been written since the stars were formed. His voice is your North Star, and it's calling you to follow. Now you've carried burdens that weren't yours to bear, expectations, regrets, the weight of others' doubts. They've tried to anchor you to the ground, but God's voice is lifting you, cutting those chains, setting you free. It's telling you to release what's held you back, to step into a life unburdened by the past. Isaiah 61:1 says, He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim freedom for the captives. That freedom is yours. His voice is the key. Unlock it, claim it, walk in it. The world wants you to stay small, to fit into its boxes, to follow its rules. But God's voice is calling you to break free, to rise above, to live a life that defies limits. You're not here to conform. You're here to transform. His words are reshaping your mind, your heart, your future. They're painting a vision of who you were always meant to be. A chosen one, handpicked for a purpose that changes everything. Listen close. His voice is your blueprint. Think of Joseph, sold into slavery, thrown into prison, forgotten by those he helped. Yet God's voice never left him. Through every betrayal, every dark night, it whispered of a future where he'd stand before kings. Genesis 41:16 says, Joseph answered Pharaoh, "It is not in me. God will give Pharaoh a favorable answer." That same voice is speaking to you, turning your pit into a palace, your trials into triumphs. Trust it. It's leading you to greatness. Let's make this moment count. Hit that like button to anchor your faith. Subscribe to join thousands of chosen ones walking in God's voice. And in the comments, type 777 to declare you're ready to follow His call. These aren't just actions. They're your commitment to the path He's speaking into existence. God's voice is a current pulling you toward a future that's alive with possibility. It's not about forcing your way forward. It's about flowing with His plan. You've tried to control the outcome, to map every step, to predict every turn. But His voice is saying, let go, trust the river. It's carrying you to places your plans could never reach. Surrender isn't weakness. It's the strength to trust the one who sees the end from the beginning. You felt the pull of something greater, haven't you? That ache in your soul, that longing for more, it's not random. It's God's voice stirring you, calling you to a life that's bigger than your circumstances. You're not defined by your job, your bank account, or your mistakes. You're defined by the one who speaks your name, who calls you His own, who says you were made for this. His voice is your identity. Embrace it. Picture seed breaking through the earth, reaching for sunlight it can't yet see. That's you right now. The dirt of your struggles, the weight of your doubts, they're not your grave. They're your growth. God's voice is the sun calling you upward, urging you to stretch, to bloom, to become. You're not stuck, you're rising. Every word He speaks is nourishment, strengthening you for the life you're meant to live. Look at Mary Magdalene, a woman the world rejected. Yet God's voice called her to be a witness to the resurrection. John 16 says, Jesus said to her, Mary. She turned toward Him and cried out, Rabboni. That one word, her name, changed everything. God's voice is calling your name too, turning your shame into glory, your pain into purpose. He sees you, knows you, chooses you. Answer Him with your life. This isn't about chasing success. It's about stepping into significance. God's voice isn't promising you a life of ease. It's promising you a life of impact. You're not here to blend in. You're here to stand out, to carry His light into places of darkness, to speak His truth where lies have taken root. His voice is your commission, your calling, your power. Let it flow through you, changing everything it touches. Feel the shift in your spirit. God's voice is rewriting your story, erasing the lies that said you're not enough, that your dreams are too big, that your past is too heavy. His words are truth, and they're declaring victory over your life. That's your position. Claim it. The enemy wants you to stay silent, to doubt the voice, to question the call. But God's voice is louder, stronger, clearer. It's the sound of creation, the force of redemption, the power of resurrection. You've heard it in the moments when hope refused to die, when strength rose from nowhere, when peace settled in the storm. That was Him. And He's speaking now, urging you to rise, to move, to become. Let's lock this in. Hit that like button to affirm his voice. Subscribe to stand with thousands of chosen ones following his call. And in the comments, type 777 to declare you're ready to live his truth. These are your steps of faith, your declaration that you're all in for what God's saying. God's voice is a flame burning away the lies that have held you back. It's not just words. It's a fire that purifies, a light that reveals, a power that transforms. We're not the same person who started this journey. His voice has changed you, shaped you, made you new. You're not carrying the weight of your past. You're carrying the weight of his glory, and it's lifting you higher than you ever thought possible. You've seen his voice at work. In the moment you found strength you didn't know you had. In the door that opened when every other was closed. In the peace that came when the world was falling apart. That was God speaking, moving, providing. Now he's speaking again, calling you to a season of overflow where his blessings pour out, where his purpose shines, where his voice becomes your reality. Think of Gideon, a man hiding in a wine press, called a mighty warrior by God's voice. Judges 6:12 says, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." He didn't feel mighty, but God's voice made it true. You might not feel ready, worthy, or strong, but his voice says you are. He's calling you a warrior, a victor, a chosen one. Trust his words over your feelings. Step into the identity he's speaking over you. This is your moment to shine. God's voice isn't just guiding you, it's illuminating you. You're not just walking a path, you're becoming a light. Your life is his canvas, and every word he speaks as a stroke of brilliance. You're not here to survive, you're here to thrive, to reflect his glory, to show the world what happens when a chosen one hears and obeys. You're not alone. God's voice is your companion, your guide, your strength. It's in the quiet moments of prayer, the sudden bursts of inspiration, the unexpected connections that change everything. He's speaking through every detail, weaving a story of victory, purpose, and power. Lean in, listen close. Let his voice be the rhythm of your life. The world will try to pull you back, to make you doubt, to keep you small, but God's voice is stronger. It's saying, you're mine, you're chosen, you're unstoppable. Every step you take in faith drowns out the noise. Every choice you make in obedience silences the lies. His voice is your victory song. Let it echo through your life. God's voice is a hammer shattering the walls you've built around your heart, breaking through the limits you've accepted as truth. It's not just a sound, it's a force, dismantling every lie that's kept you small, every fear that's held you back. You've lived with barriers, self-doubt, rejection, the weight of others' expectations, but his voice is tearing them down, calling you to a life without limits. Right now, he's speaking strength into your bones, urging you to stand tall as the chosen one you are. You've walked through seasons of scarcity, moments when it felt like nothing was enough. Time, money, hope. But God's voice is shifting the narrative. It's declaring abundance where you saw lack, possibility where you saw dead ends. His words aren't just comfort. They're a promise of overflow, a guarantee that your needs are met before you even ask. Matthew 6:8 says, your Father knows what you need before you ask him. Trust that voice. It's already preparing your breakthrough. The world wants you to hustle, to grind, to prove your worth. But God's voice is different. It's calling you to rest in his provision. You're not defined by your effort. You're defined by his grace. He's speaking peace into your striving, saying, I've got this. Your job isn't to force the door open, it's to walk through the one He's already unlocked. His voice is your invitation to a life of ease, not struggle, of faith, not fear. Think of Joshua standing at the edge of Jericho, facing walls that seem impossible to breach. God's voice didn't tell him to fight harder. It told him to march, to trust, to obey. Joshua 6:2 says, "See, I have delivered Jericho into your hands." That same voice is speaking to you, handing you victories you haven't yet seen. Your walls, your obstacles, your doubts are already crumbling. His voice is your strategy, your strength, your triumph. Let's make this real. Hit that like button to claim His promise. Subscribe to join thousands of chosen ones walking in God's voice. And in the comments, type 777 to declare you're ready to follow His lead. These aren't just actions, they're your yes to the divine plan unfolding in your life. God's voice is a seed planted deep in your spirit, growing into a life you never thought possible. It's not loud or forceful, it's steady, persistent, unstoppable. You felt it in those moments when a quiet confidence rose within you, when you knew something was true, even without proof. That's Him nurturing your purpose, cultivating a future that blooms with His glory. You're not just surviving, you're growing, thriving, becoming. You've been told to wait for the right time, to hold off until everything lines up. But God's voice is saying now. His timing isn't bound by your calendar or your circumstances. He's speaking action into your hesitation, courage into your caution. The opportunity you've been praying for, the breakthrough you've been seeking. It's not tomorrow, it's today. His voice is the green light urging you to move before the moment passes. Picture a potter shaping clay, hands steady, purposeful, turning something ordinary into a work of art. That's God's voice in your life, molding you, refining you, creating something beautiful from the raw material of your experiences. Every pain, every joy, every moment was clay in His hands. You're not a mistake, you're a masterpiece. His voice is the vision, guiding the process, shaping you into His design. Look at Nehemiah, called to rebuild Jerusalem's walls amidst opposition and ruin. God's voice gave him a mission and he didn't waver. Nehemiah 2:20 says, "The God of heaven will give us success." That same voice is speaking success over you, calling you to rebuild what's been broken, to restore what's been lost. You're not just repairing, you're creating something new, something lasting, something divine. This isn't about chasing fleeting goals. It's about stepping into eternal purpose. God's voice isn't leading you to temporary wins, it's guiding you to a legacy. Your life is a story He's writing, and every word He speaks adds a chapter of impact, influence, and inspiration. You're not here for yourself alone. You're here for everyone your life will touch, for every heart your light will reach. Feel the fire of His voice. It's not just speaking, it's igniting. It's setting your spirit ablaze with purpose, with passion, with power. You felt it before. In the moments when you knew you were meant for more. When a dream refused to die, when a hope outlasted despair. That's God calling you to rise, to shine, to live a life that echoes His glory. Don't quench that fire, let it burn. The enemy wants you to question, to second guesses, to stall, but God's voice is clear, unwavering, true. It's the anchor in your storm, the compass in your wilderness. You've heard it in the moments when peace came without reason, when strength rose from weakness. That was Him, and He's speaking now, louder, bolder, urging you to trust His words. over the world's noise. Let's anchor this moment. Hit that like button.